Sorry, these are for you.
Oh, we shouldn't have gone to all this expense.
Only Fools and Horses wasn't just a sitcom, it was a cultural phenomenon. From the market stalls of Peckham to unforgettable one-liners, these characters became household names. But what happened when the credits rolled? Some became global stars, others faced heartbreak, and a few vanished from the spotlight entirely. Stay with us as we reveal where the 20 classic cast members are now. Trigger's timeless legacy. Now we gotta talk about the legend himself, Roger Lloyd Pack, the man who made Trigger a household name without breaking a sweat. With his deadpan delivery and baffling logic, Trigger somehow stole scenes by saying less and meaning more. Only Roger could make calling Rodney Dave a running joke for decades. Pure gold. In the world of Only Fools and Horses, Trigger was the kind of character you couldn't explain. You just had to watch and vibe with him. Off-screen, Roger was nothing like his slow-witted alter ego. The guy had serious chops, turning up in shows like The Vicar of Dibley and stage performances that proved he was a class act. Sadly, we lost him in 2014 to pancreatic cancer at the age of 69. Big loss. Fans across generations were gutted. The tributes poured in, and not just from the Only Fools squad. He left a mark across the entire British acting scene. Behind the jokes, Roger was thoughtful, well-read, and passionate about social issues. That contrast between the man and the character, unreal. Trigger might have been clueless, but Roger Lloyd Pack was anything but. It's mind-boggling. How did a character with so little dialogue become such an icon on British TV? That's some next-level talent. Gone but never forgotten. Trigger lives on through reruns and memes, while Roger's work continues to inspire. Straight-up legend. Gary's glow-up. Remember Gary, one of Rodney's laid-back mates from Only Fools and Horses? Played by Nabil Elouahabi. He didn't grab a ton of screen time, but his presence brought that fresh, relatable energy that fit right into the Peckham crew.
Would you like something to drink, Gary? Gary?
Gary?
He was one of those supporting characters who felt real, like someone you'd actually run into down the block. After Only Fools, Nabil didn't just hang up the jacket and disappear. He stepped fully into the acting world and started racking up credits like a pro. One of his big moves, landing a solid role in EastEnders as Tariq Larousse. From sitcom laughs to soap drama, that's range. He didn't stop there either. Nabil's kept it moving through crime thrillers, gritty dramas, and even high-profile series like Vera. His performances hit with authenticity, whether he's playing a street-smart character or a serious role with depth. What stands out most is how he's continued to evolve without chasing clout. Low-key, he's become one of those steady, dependable actors that directors trust to bring the heat. Makes you think, how does a minor character from a classic sitcom end up building such a solid, lasting career? That's that real long-game energy. The queen of cameos. One of the most unexpected yet unforgettable appearances in Only Fools and Horses came from none other than Jeanette Charles, the legendary Queen Elizabeth II lookalike. She popped up in that iconic episode where Del and Rodney thought they were rubbing shoulders with royalty, and she pulled it off flawlessly. Jeanette didn't just resemble the Queen, she had the grace, the poise, and the whole royal vibe down pat. Over the years, she portrayed Her Majesty in everything from films to comedy sketches, always with that classic British charm. That cameo in Only Fools, straight-up comedy gold. Her career stretched across decades, and while she wasn't a household name, her face was instantly recognizable. That regal presence gave her a niche that few could match. Whether it was a TV sitcom or a big screen spoof, Jeanette brought dignity with a wink. She officially retired in the early 2000s, stepping back after a long run that most character actors would envy. Sadly, she passed away in 2024 at the age of 96. A long life filled with crown-worthy moments. Here's the thing. How many actors become iconic by playing one of the most iconic figures of all time without actually being her? That's a rare flex. Jeanette Charles didn't just impersonate royalty, she built a legacy out of it. Always classy, always on point. The queen of cameos, no doubt. Cassandra's comeback vibe. Next up, Gwyneth Strong, the woman who played the brainy, put-together Cassandra Trotter. Rodney's other half, and let's be real, probably the only one keeping him from losing the plot completely. She stepped onto the Only Fools and Horses scene with sharp wit and zero time for nonsense. Total boss energy. Back in the late 80s and 90s, Cassandra was that solid, no BS character the show needed. She wasn't about the schemes or get-rich-quick madness. She was career-driven, confident, and way ahead of the game. Gwyneth nailed the role like it was made for her. Fast forward to now, and she's still out there doing her thing. In 2016, she popped up in EastEnders, showing fans she's still got the acting chops. But that's not all. She's also put her voice behind something way bigger than TV. Gwyneth's been super active in raising awareness for ovarian cancer, working with charities, and using her platform to make some serious impact. That's major. Now in her early 60s, she's balanced screen time and real-world causes like a total pro. She might have played a supporting role on the show, but in real life, she's front and center when it counts. Makes you think, how many sitcom stars pivot from comedy to activism without missing a beat? Gwyneth's doing just that. Whether she's in Walford or raising her voice for a cause, she's keeping it classy and purposeful. Low-key inspiring and high-key underrated. Mike behind the bar. No trip down Only Fools and Horses memory lane is complete without raising a glass to Mike Fisher, the ever-patient landlord of the Nag's Head, played by Kenneth MacDonald. Whether Del Boy was dodging bills or Trigger was dropping nonsense, Mike held it down behind the bar like a champ, always with that classic fed-up look. Kenneth brought a steady hand and quick wit to the role. Mike wasn't just pouring pints, he was the referee, the peacekeeper, and sometimes the unluckiest bloke in the room. Del owed him more cash than he ever paid, but Mike still kept the doors open and the banter flowing. Before and beyond Only Fools, Kenneth had a strong TV run. He showed up in It Ain't Half Hot Mum and other British staples, always playing characters with that same natural charm. Fans loved him because he felt real, just a guy doing his best to keep the madness in check. Tragically, Kenneth passed away in 2001 during a family holiday. He was only 50, a real gut punch for fans and cast alike. His absence was felt hard. It wasn't just about losing Mike, it was losing a piece of the show's heart. Think about it. How many sitcom landlords feel like part of your own circle? That's what Kenneth brought to the screen, Sid's Cafe forever. Time to give props to the man behind the greasiest spoon in Peckham, Roy Heather, who played Sid, the no-nonsense cafe owner in Only Fools and Horses. With that worn-out apron and permanent side-eye, Sid dished out tea, bacon buddies, and sarcasm in equal measure. His cafe was the crew's second home, and probably a health inspector's nightmare. Roy played Sid like a pro, grumpy on the surface, but deep down, you knew he had a soft spot for the gang. He didn't get many lines, but everyone hit the mark. That dry delivery? On point every time. After Only Fools, Roy stayed active in the acting world. He showed up in various British TV shows, continuing to bring that same grounded energy fans had grown to love. Whether he had 2 lines or 20, he always brought the goods. Sadly, Roy passed in 2014 at the age of 79. Low-key, it was the end of an era. While he wasn't front and center like Del or Rodney, Sid's presence was key. Every crew needs a spot to crash, and Sid's Cafe was the place. Makes you think, how many sitcoms have a background character that leaves such a lasting impact? That's how you know Roy nailed it. He may be gone, but Sid's memory still slaps. Whether you're rewatching for the laughs or the nostalgia, that little cafe always feels like home. Respect, Roy. You kept it real. Slater to showstopper. Who could forget Detective Roy Slater? The shady copper no one in Peckham trusted for a second. Played with slick precision by Jim Broadbent, Slater was as bent as they come, and his dodgy smile said it all. He may have only popped in for a few episodes, but he stirred up enough trouble to last a lifetime. Back in the Only Fools and Horses days, Broadbent was already showing signs of serious acting chops. Slater wasn't just a villain, he was complex, cold, and a total scene stealer. Funny enough, Jim was originally considered for Del Boy, but looking back, he's glad he didn't land it. Safe to say things worked out. After Peckham, Broadbent's career went straight global. He scooped up an Academy Award for Iris, dropped heat in Moulin Rouge, flexed his range in Gangs of New York, and found magic in Harry Potter as Professor Slughorn. Versatile doesn't even cover it. Dude's been everywhere. Despite the fame, Jim stayed humble. He's that rare actor who can carry a blockbuster and still crush it in indie dramas without skipping a beat. Total pro move. Let's be real. How many sitcom villains go on to snag an Oscar and still get recognized as that bent copper from Only Fools? That's the kind of double threat most actors dream of. Mickey Pierce, still standing. You can't talk Only Fools and Horses without giving a nod to the slickest hat in Peckham. Mickey Pierce, played by Patrick Murray, always flashing that toothy grin and flexing like he was some kind of ladies' man. Mickey thought he was top dog. Truth was, he was barely scraping sidekick status. But that's exactly why fans loved him. Back in the day, Murray gave Mickey that perfect blend of cocky and clueless.
Recently, His Highness bought a crappy old three-wheeled van. And he wants to know how to start it on cold mornings.
Whether he was backing Dell's wild plans or just clowning Rodney, he had that swagger that made every scene pop. Now at 68, Patrick's journey off-screen has been way more real than any sitcom script. In 2022, he shared that he was battling lung cancer, but after undergoing life-saving surgery, reports came in that he'd beaten it. That had fans across the UK cheering. Unfortunately, in 2023, he confirmed the cancer had returned and spread, but the man's still standing strong and fighting hard. Through it all, Murray stayed grounded, cracking jokes and keeping the vibe light despite heavy circumstances. That's true grit. And if that wasn't enough, he's also been taking on real-world nonsense, like calling out unfair parking fines at a McDonald's. Mickey Pierce energy, still fully activated. It's impressive. How does a guy go from sitcom star to real-life warrior, all while staying true to himself? Patrick's doing just that. Whether in the pub or a hospital room, he's proving what true grit is. Props to the legend. Mickey might have been all talk, but Patrick Murray? That man's the real deal. Rodney's wild ride. The man behind the lanky legend, Nicholas Lyndhurst, aka Rodney Trotter. Back in 1981, he was just 20 years old, rocking the plonker energy like no one else. Playing Del Boy's younger bro wasn't just comedy gold, it was the perfect contrast.
Above all else, I do not look like that.
Rodney brought that wide-eyed innocence, clueless charm, and constant eye rolls to Del's wild schemes. Fast forward to 2025, and Lyndhurst is now 63, still keeping it low-key, but sharp in the acting game. He's been holding it down in hit shows like Ghosts UK, and even joined the reboot of Frasier, flexing his serious acting chops. Dude's got range, no cap. Off camera, Lyndhurst known for keeping things private. A real chill vibe. Family means the world to him, and after some tough personal losses, he's chosen to stay out of the flashy spotlight. But let's not get it twisted. When he's on screen, he's still got that drip. Back in the day, he had the classic, awkward, younger brother vibe, down to a science now. He's matured into a smooth, seasoned performer who still gets that nod of respect wherever he pops up. From Rodney the Plonker to a full-on TV veteran, Lyndhurst's glow-up is one for the books. Makes you want to ask, how'd we go from market stalls in Peckham to a seat on Frasier's reboot cast? Mental Mickey's next act. If you remember Mental Mickey, you remember Chaos. Played by Daniel Peacock, Mickey was the wild-eyed band frontman who thought he was ready to take the music world by storm, with Rodney on drums no less. That band, pure disaster. But as far as sitcom moments go, it was straight-up comedy gold. Daniel brought high-energy madness to that role, and it stuck. Mickey was loud, unpredictable, and completely delusional. Basically the exact kind of guy Del Boy would think could score a record deal. Classic setup, flawless execution. After Only Fools, Daniel didn't slow down. He kept busy in the British TV scene, not just acting, but also writing and directing. Behind the scenes, he had a real impact, working on comedy shows and creating content that kept the laughs rolling. In recent years, Daniel took a turn most folks didn't see coming. He started working in a care home and living in a caravan, choosing a more grounded lifestyle, far from the glitz. But truth is, he's been open about loving that choice. Real talk, it's not about fame, it's about peace of mind. Here's the big question. How many actors trade the spotlight for something that genuinely feels right? Daniel did, and that takes guts. Once fronting a cringeworthy band, Daniel Peacock now helps others every day, showing that true impact doesn't need a stage. Mental Mickey was loud, but the man behind him? Quietly doing incredible things. The crying icon. Y'all remember Tony Angelino, the cabaret crooner with a twist? That unforgettable performance of crying in Only Fools and Horses is etched into comedy history. Played by Philip Pope, Tony wasn't just a one-off character. He was a showstopper, literally. That lisp, the serious stage presence, and the straight face while belting out those R-heavy ballads? Comedy genius. Philip Pope absolutely nailed it, blending musical skill with perfect comic timing. And let's not forget, this wasn't just a funny guy trying to sing. He's a legit composer, actor, and musical satirist who's worked across British TV for decades. The man's been behind shows like Not the 9 O'Clock News and Spitting Image, proving his talent runs deep. After Only Fools, Pope stayed on the grind, writing music, voice acting, and pulling off low-key, brilliant comedy gigs. Fans still ask him to perform crying at events, and yeah, he still brings the house down with it. That scene might have lasted minutes, but the cultural impact? Long-lasting. Philip's career is all about range. One minute he's spoofing pop stars, the next he's orchestrating music that hits. Dude's been quietly flexing in the background of British comedy for years. Gotta ask, how does a single episode turn a character into a cult favorite decades later? That's the power of a moment done right. With a mix of soulful love songs and biting satire, Philip Pope made Tony Angelino a one-hit wonder that left a lasting mark. A moment you can't forget. Marlene still got it. Time to give it up for Sue Holderness, the iconic face behind Marlene Boyce, the glamorous, gossip-loving better half of Boise. Whether she was shouting across the garden fence or throwing side-eye at Del Boy's latest hustle, Marlene had sass for days and a laugh that could shake the block. Back in the day, Sue brought big character energy to every scene. Marlene wasn't just comic relief. She was part of the show's heartbeat.
Home in any walk of life. How are you, sweetheart?
Adding that bold, brash charm fans couldn't get enough of. Total vibe. Fast forward to 2025, and Sue's still out here doing her thing. She's popped up in shows like Doctors and EastEnders, proving her range is solid. But beyond the screen, she's used her platform to make noise about a serious issue: online scams. After getting targeted herself in 2022, she clapped back by speaking out and helping others stay sharp. Respect. Now in her mid-70s, Sue's kept it all the way classy with a touch of that classic Marlene flair. Whether she's acting or advocating, she's handling business like a true pro. And let's be real, how many TV wives from the 80s are still making headlines and helping folks in real life? That's not just staying relevant, that's legacy work. From Peckham drama to public awareness, Sue Holderness continues to slay in and out of character. From Stefan to stardom, rewind to one of the blink and you'll miss it moments. David Thewlis stepping in as Stefan. Yeah, that David Thewlis. Before casting spells at Hogwarts as Professor Lupin, he had a quick stint in Peckham that most fans don't clock unless they're true diehards. Stefan wasn't on screen long, but Thewlis has a vibe that's hard to forget. Tall, sharp, with that signature intensity. Even in a minor role, dude brought something extra. No surprise he didn't stay in the background for long. After that brief appearance, David flipped the script and dove deep into serious roles. He blew up in Naked, crushed it in The Theory of Everything, and worldwide fans know him best as the werewolf professor with a heart in Harry Potter. Total glow-up from greasy cafe scenes to global franchises. Outside of film, he's penned a novel, voiced animated characters, and consistently chosen roles that are anything but basic, whether it's drama, fantasy, or straight-up psychological thrillers. He's been leveling up nonstop. Makes you wonder, how does a low-key sitcom cameo turn into a launchpad for a blockbuster career? That's some real-deal evolution. Stefan lurking in the background of Lupin in the spotlight, David Thewlis proves that subtle roles lead to powerful legacies. No doubt he's on a roll. The heart of Nelson Mandela House. Let's take it back to where the Trotter legacy truly began, with Grandad, played by Leonard Pierce. Sitting in that worn-out armchair with a mug in hand and a baffled look on his face, Granddad was the ultimate background MVP. He didn't say much, but when he did, it was pure gold. Leonard brought a quiet brilliance to the role, mixing deadpan humor with genuine warmth. Whether he was arguing with Del or backing Rodney with that signature grumble, Granddad had a way of making you laugh without trying too hard. He kept things grounded amid all the madness. Off-screen, Leonard had a serious theater background, performing alongside legends long before he ever set foot in Peckham. And get this, he once almost shook hands with Hitler before the war. Wild piece of trivia that adds a whole new layer to the man behind the role. In 1984, during the show's early years, Leonard passed away suddenly. His death hit hard, not just for the cast, but for the audience too. The show carried on, but there was a noticeable gap. Granddad was more than comic relief. He was the soul of that flat. Denzel's still rolling back to one of the smoothest characters in Only Fools and Horses. Denzel Tulser, played by the one and only Paul Barber. As the chilled-out lorry driver constantly getting caught up in Del Boy's chaos, Denzel was everyone's favorite easygoing guy, just trying to make it through the week without a mental breakdown. Barber brought real warmth and humor to Denzel. The character might have been gullible, but he was loyal, ride-or-die status, whether it was dodgy deals or nearly crashing a truck. Because of Del, Denzel always found himself deep in drama he didn't sign up for. After Only Fools, Paul didn't hit the brakes. He kept the acting grind going, landing big roles in both film and TV. His performance in The Full Monty was straight fur. Showed the world he wasn't just a sitcom sidekick. He's also kept things current with roles in indie dramas like Love Without Walls, proving that range doesn't fade with time. Now in his early 70s, Paul's still working and still repping the culture hard. From Council Estates to the big screen, he's been through it all, without losing that signature Denzel charm. Legendary Del Boy glow-up. Let's roll back the clock and check out the GOAT himself. Sir David Jason, the man who owned the role of Del Boy Trotter in Only Fools and Horses.
I have here authentic David Beckham underpants.
From a cheeky wheeler-dealer in Peckham to a straight-up British TV icon, Jason's glow-up is seriously next level. Back in 1981, David Jason was in his early 40s, rocking the sheepskin coat and slinging knockoff gear with swagger. Del Boy wasn't just chasing quick cash, he was the ultimate dreamer. This time next year, we'll be millionaires, became the catchphrase of a generation. And honestly, it still slaps. Fast forward to 2025, and Sir David's now 84 years old. Yeah, time's been flying. While fans have been hyped about a possible comeback, Jason has officially said he's done playing Del. No cap, he's admitted it takes a lot out of him now. After nearly calling it quits mid-show way back when, it's clear he's earned his chill time. Even though he's stepped back from the screen, Sir David's still getting mad respect. The dude's been knighted, bagged a bunch of awards, and is pretty much TV royalty. For real, his legacy with Only Fools, untouchable. So here's the real question. Do we even want a reboot without the original Del Boy? Because let's be honest, no one does it like Jason. Damien done different. Let's not forget Douglas Hodge, who stepped in as the adult version of Damien Trotter during that wild dream sequence in Only Fools and Horses. In Del Boy's worst nightmare, Damien had gone full corporate villain, slick suit, power moves, and absolutely zero heart. It was short, sharp, and hilarious. But Douglas didn't stop at Dreamland cameos. He went on to become a serious heavyweight in the acting game. From Shakespeare to the West End, he's taken on some of the toughest roles in theater, cleaned up at the Olivier Awards, and directed plays by legends like Harold Pinter. Yeah, man's not just acting, he's running the show. In film, he's flexed in everything from Joker to Gemini Man, holding his own next to A-listers without breaking a sweat. Whether he's on stage or screen, Douglas brings depth and intensity that hits different. What's even cooler, he's done it all without chasing the limelight. Just solid work, project after project, building a reputation that's all about skill over noise. How does a dream sequence villain in a sitcom end up becoming one of the UK's most respected performers? That's the glow-up no one saw coming. What started as Damien Trotter's fake future turned into a career full of powerful performances. Douglas Hodge made a one-off gag the start of something legendary. Total class act. Queen of Peckham. Let's shine a light on the lady who brought real heart to Only Fools and Horses. Tessa Peake Jones, better known as Raquel Turner.
Oh, sorry, these are for you.
Oh, we shouldn't have gone to all this expense.
She rolled into Del Boy's life like a total plot twist. Classy, talented, and way too smart for all that market madness. But somehow, she stuck around. Mad respect. Back in the early 90s, Raquel wasn't just another love interest. She became the glue that held Del together when the laughs stopped. Tessa nailed that role, bringing warmth and wit in every scene. And guess what? She didn't stop once the show wrapped. Tessa kept it moving, turning heads in British dramas like Doctor Who, Holby City, and Grantchester. Girls got that staying power. Now in her late 60s, she's still in the mix, low-key crushing it on screen while keeping her personal life under wraps. Real ones know she had a 27-year relationship with Douglas Hodge. Yep, the same guy who played her son Damien in the show's later years. Wild, right? Tessa's always been about substance over flash. While some chase clout, she's kept it classy, letting the work speak loud. That's why fans still ride with her decades later. From stage life to sitcom stardom and back to the drama circuit, she's walked every path with style. Makes you wonder, how'd Del Boy pull a queen like Raquel? Must have been the charm or that sheepskin coat. Whatever the reason, Tessa Peake Jones brought real depth to the show. No biggie, just straight up iconic. Kate Saunders' journey, Del Boy's early love interest, Sandra, played by Kate Saunders. She showed up on Only Fools and Horses as a policewoman with charm, confidence, and just the right amount of side-eye for Del's smooth talk. The role was short and sweet, but Kate made it count. After leaving Peckham behind, Kate didn't just fade into the background. She reinvented herself completely. Stepping away from acting, she carved out a stellar path as a novelist and journalist. Her books gained serious praise, especially in the world of historical fiction and mysteries. The woman could write, no doubt. Her sharp wit and storytelling ability didn't stop with novels. Kate also contributed to major publications, showing she could break down real-world issues just as effortlessly as she once delivered lines on screen. Sadly, she passed in 2023 at 62. A real loss to the literary world and to fans who appreciated her depth on and off the screen. Here's a thought. How often does a brief sitcom appearance lead into a full-blown literary career? Kate Saunders pulled it off with style. Legend of the Cafe Guy. Remember that old fella chillin' in the cafe in Only Fools and Horses? Yeah, the one who barely said a word but somehow felt like he belonged there forever? That was Harry Landis. And trust me, this guy's career was way more than just a blink and you miss it cameo. Born in the East End of London, Harry was straight up old school. He wasn't just some background extra. This dude was a theater beast, a director, and a union guy who fought for actors' rights like a total champ. He even popped up in EastEnders and Friday Night Dinner, playing those grumpy but lovable granddad roles like a pro. Classic Brit TV legend vibes, no cap. By the time he showed up in Only Fools and Horses, Harry had already been grinding in the acting world for decades. And even though his role in the cafe was low-key, fans still clocked him. It's wild how one scene can leave a mark, huh? Outside the screen, he had that real salt-of-the-earth energy. Grew up working class, got into acting through a youth club, and never forgot where he came from. Total East End soul. He passed away in 2022 at 90, and honestly, it was the end of a long boss-level career. If the show meant something to you growing up, or you're just now discovering it, go ahead and hit that like, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more Throwback Gold. Thanks for watching, legends.